welcome to another installment of Zion's Football Fantasy Football League Fantasy Football Podcast. This week brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper, the only fantasy football app made for fans by fans. This is a show where we take a look into the details and goings on in the league because we all know our commissioner would never do that. Sadly, I'm here without my co-host. He's besotted. I didn't really look too much into the news or read what he was saying, but something about Joe Milton was taking a trip through Tampa. He was categorized as something. I don't know. I thought he was Joe Milton the third, but they're saying it's Milton is a 5. I don't know what that means. But we've got our special guest, Commissioner. How you doing, Trevor?
I'm doing great. Picked up another W. Just like you, Ted. You just keep rattling off those wins.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Feels real good. Were you saying something about Joe Milton?
Yeah, I saw some headlines about like Milton approaching Tampa Bay Wednesday morning, something. But it was like Milton the 5th. Does he have like 2 kids?
Well, we all know Milton is dangerous. He can really sling that sucker, so I'd take cover.
That's why he's the third quarterback in New England. He must be pretty good. But, you know, speaking of we got some winners here. Why don't we take a look just right before we get into the recap? We had Binky on last week, and he gave us 3 amazing bets.
Killed.
And I just want to – I know for sure, Trev, that you probably like tripled the units. You put 369 units on each one. So the first baby back Bink, Brian Thomas Jr., catch a pass first drive. Yep. Did not hit. Ooh. He had an incompletion. That was a tough one. But don't worry.
He had that drop on the 4th down of the Jaguars last drive. Almost hit that one, Bink.
The back-to-Bink, double Bink, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown. Easy money. I saw Justin Jefferson had 90-something yards. Jamar had a monster game. This one did not hit as well. Justin Jefferson could not get a touchdown, even though the Vikings were rolling. That one was tough.
First game this year without a touchdown.
But don't worry because
almost instantly when Monty said that pick that since Justin Jefferson was on my team, I was like, well, he's not going to score this week.
But don't worry because we had the triple Binky, 2 stinky. Even if the first ones didn't hit, you're making all your money back. Jackson Smith and Jibba getting the first touchdown plus 1,000 odds. Boy, was this nice to see when he scored in the 4th quarter. Not the first touchdown. Did not hit.
That's tough. I lost a good amount of units on those, but I trust in the Bink. I know we're gonna pray to our Bink each night, and I know Monty had that big ETN hit last year, so I'm gonna keep trusting the Bink.
Yeah, I'm certain it's going to be there. I haven't looked at the data, but historically, Bink has been pretty good.
It's got to be profitable with that ETN first drive, first touchdown last
year. You know, and speaking of the Bink, why don't we go right into our Week 5 recap? And why don't we talk about the Bink had a rough week. He was playing me. You know, some things worked out the way they worked out. A lot of people seem upset. But a win's a win. I won 116-97. Solid performance all around. Nothing too crazy. A team victory, I'd call it. I got Kelsey back in the mix, getting an 11.5. 8 players all within 10 to 20 points. Monty had some rough players looking down. He had Breece Hall with 5. Maserati Marvin. He had 2 catches for 36 yards. Nothing much you can do. I guess bright spot, Brian Thomas Jr., great pickup, even though we didn't get a catch during that first drive. Trev, how do you feel about this one? I know you had some stats to pull out about how this was an unexpected win, but
I'm not going to be the one to be like, Teddy, this is such bullshit. You keep winning. Like, I mean, good for you. You've
Save that for Kyle.
You've talked all year about your fantasy defense and how obviously that's worked out well. You're 5-0. I am one who just likes to pull out the stats and show how crazy it's been, because this start for you has been crazy. So in the breakdown, I don't know if you checked that breakdown tab, but you are now sitting at 15-20 in the breakdown. 15-20 at 5-0. That is 42% of the matchups, if you played everybody every week, that you would win. Less than half, and you are 5-0. 3 unexpected wins. Now, these unexpected and expected wins that I say on the breakdown each week, I just go based on if you're top 4 scoring or bottom 4 scoring. And that's what expected, unexpected I'm talking about, in case anybody didn't catch that. But you have 3 wins now. I just put this in the group, but you have 3 wins now where you were in the bottom half in the league of scoring, but got your win. So I don't know. I haven't really checked the points for and points against. Obviously, I don't think you're very high up there on the points for, but your points against has got to be the lowest in the league. But hey, that fantasy defense keeps getting the job done, keeps getting you wins. So good for you. But I think now me, Chase, and Jack, I believe, are the 3 who at your expense got losses when we were in the top 4 of the league. So nothing crazy there. If one for each person, nobody's getting screwed over as far as luck goes each week as far as the losses, but you just keep getting those W's. But yeah, Pittman was a good start, got that touchdown. Benched Tyreek, I saw. I didn't see that till Sunday. That ended up being a good decision. The Dolphins, I know they got a win this week, but they look terrible. I mean,
yeah,
they look completely horrible. I mean, I'm glad they're on a bye week, because I don't know about starting A-Chain with how bad they look. But Kelsey looked good too. Maybe he'll get some more volume now that Rashee Rice is out. Maybe he'll go back. Mahomes will go back to Kelsey. So yeah, good week. Put up some good points this week. Yeah, Monty, Brian Thomas, great game. Just wish he had gotten that catch on that first drive. Lost a few units on that one. And then Kareem Hunt's volume. I don't know if you saw that.
That was a great pickup. Yeah.
7 carries or something. So it looks like the Chiefs are going to be using Kareem Hunt as a true RB1 there. So that'll be great for Monty until Pacheco, if he does come back. But luckily, I'm playing Monty this week, and Kareem Hunt's on a bye. We'll get to that in the preview. But
don't get ahead of ourselves.
Monty had a lot of injuries and bye weeks, so tough to get the L. But I still think Monty has a good team. So
yeah, definitely just a down week for Monty. Who could have said one last thing I will say to all those haters, all the people that are upset that I'm tearing this league apart. I will say I have outside of the first week where I went 1-7. I don't think I've had quite a down week where
I would agree. I'd say it's more just your opponents not scoring. So yeah, I mean,
my opponent, I haven't had a down week, and all of my opponents have.
I'm pissed that I haven't played you yet, because I know going in, like, I better win this week, because I think I play you the following week and I'm going to lose that one because my players are all going to be terrible. But I have a strategy. I'm going to, when I play you, all of my fantasy players, I'm going to bet every single one of their every single one of their no touchdown scores, and I'm going to be so rich, baby. See which jinx works better, yours for my fantasy players or me for my betting. See which one is more powerful.
That'll be Monty tried to do some reverse jinxing, but
Monty was on top of it, but he can't. Your reverse jinx is just too strong.
Now, why don't we keep rolling? Let's talk about your matchup against Jack. This is a heavy hitters matchup where against You know, a lot of other people in the league, Jack would have done pretty well, but your team just came out hot with Lamar Jackson getting 41. Trey Sermon, I thought that was a little bit crazy just because he's Trey Sermon. That was a great pick. Garrett Wilson, even though the Jets were looking bad, he's looking like Aaron Rodgers' favorite target. But just all around, you're like Lamar took you over the top, but the rest of your team took you there. And Jack, just tough for him, just some bad. Debo and DK with like 8 points total between the two of them. He did have Tucker Kraft and Tyrone Tracy Jr. coming out of nowhere. Those are the picks that I see Jack getting that I'm like, how do people think he doesn't know football? Because who's picking up Tucker Kraft the week before he gets 23 points?
Seriously. No,
how'd you feel about that big win?
That was a good pickup by Jack, both Tracy and Tucker Kraft. When he picked up Tucker Kraft, I was like, well, that's awesome. He's going to get like a point. And then I saw he had 2 touchdowns. I was like, what the fuck is going on? But Tyrone Tracy, it looked like Eric Gray at the start of the game was going to be the starting back. And then he fumbled on the 1 yard line after they gave it to him like 3 straight times. So after that, it was all Tyrone Tracy. So 2 good pickups there by Jack. I honestly, when you just mentioned that about Trey Sermon, I'm surprised I started him after I started Cam Akers getting the start, and he did terrible. So I don't know why I decided to start Trey Sermon, but it was a wild matchup, very high scoring. Like you said, it was kind of back and forth all day. Like Jack had a big night from Mike Evans on Thursday, and then Sunday morning, the early London game, my guys weren't doing too well until Garrett Wilson started doing a lot. And then it looked like it was going to be kind of even, and then Jack took a lead. Then I looked like I was going to win easily, and then Jack's players, Tucker Kraft, started going crazy in the 4 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So really back and forth, but ended up getting the W. Fun fact, I beat Jack in his last fantasy matchup as a unmarried man. So he can never have back. Right before the wedding, got Jack down. Fun fact as well, I also beat Kyle in his last matchup before his marriage life. Last year's come game, beat Kyle, and then he had the wedding. I think I looked it up. I think RJ beat you. You beat RJ in the 5th place game, I think, last year before your wedding.
Whoa, the crazy 5th place game.
I think, right? You won that one? So
I don't know if I set my lineup.
Game. Who really remembers? But thought that was interesting. It would have been really interesting if all 3 were losses. It's maybe a suggestion to not get married, but you're going to lose that fantasy matchup before.
Just watch out playing you before anyone else gets married.
Lamar went off. That was huge. Great to see, because as I drafted him as the QB1 off the board, I think he is now QB1, so that's good to see. H-Chain going down with that concussion had me worried a little bit, but ended up working out. Garrett Wilson was good to see. He had 22 targets. So you're right saying maybe he is Rodgers' number 1 guy now. And I was worried there for a minute that Aaron Rodgers hated Garrett Wilson, but I saw him dap up and hug before the game right after both anthems in London. So I was like, all right, he likes him. And then he gave him all those targets. So that's good to see. But we'll see. Maybe a Devontae Adams might be coming to New York, play for the Jets there. But we'll see about that and how that would maybe affect Garrett Wilson. My tight ends are terrible. I've started now Njoku and Andrews, picked up Likely. I meant to look up how many points I have from tight end this year, but I'm sure it's not many. I'm thinking maybe 10 through 5 weeks, 10 points total. But so I don't know what to do at tight end. And I was looking at everybody's tight ends. Everybody's got like 2 tight ends at least. Mm-hmm. You have 3. Yeah. RJ might have 1, but everybody else has like 2 tight ends that are serviceable. So might be time for a little trade if you don't want to keep making those decisions on tight ends. Anybody, send them my way, especially if you don't have a quarterback that you love. because I have potentially the MVP on my bench and Jaden Daniels. So anybody
Wow.
tired of their two tight ends who wants to send them my way, who needs a quarterback, you let me know. But yeah, Jack especially, I think he has Purdy as his only quarterback right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know Kevin's going maybe through some quarterback troubles, and
So is Kyle.
I'll get to that.
Yep.
But yeah, Debo and DK didn't do anything in the 4 o'clock, so that could have been huge for Jack. But yeah, I'll take the win. Take the W's. A win is a win.
A win is a win for sure. And speaking of a win, the high scorer of the week in this matchup, but didn't even need a quarterback. We had Kyle beating Chase 138 to 105. Kyle finally gets a solid week out of his talented team. He heard us talking smack. Is there more to come? We'll find out. Jamar went nuclear with 36. DeAndre Swift proving he wasn't a 1 week wonder. And then Chase just did not have enough in the tank. Aaron Jones with 6, CD with 9, and no one else scoring above 18 is a recipe for cooking up a loss. Yeah, I think this was all around. Kyle needed a strong week, and boy, did he get one. His team was looking really good. Trev, what'd you think about this matchup?
Yeah, this was Chase lost the must win, and Kyle won the can't lose. So that's big time there. However, I think it's time to ask the question: is even though Kyle got the win, is Patrick Mahomes really bad in fantasy?
God, according to Kyle's recent drop, yes.
I think what?
Yeah, at 9:58 this morning on Tuesday, October 8th, Kyle dropped Patrick Mahomes.
Wow, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Picked
a
up
5th round pick.
Picked up Jared Goff, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's wild. I guess the question's answered.
I don't think anyone's really rushing to pick up a guy who's gotten 20 points once.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy hearing. I'm just looking through these recent transactions. Didn't see these. I did not know that. That's wild. Breaking news for me. But yeah, that's crazy. I mean, obviously, good quarterback. He wins Super Bowls. They win games. They're 5-0, but has not put up the points. I just had a list of guys who had more fantasy points than him through 5 weeks. Sam Darnold, he's having a good year. Geno Smith, Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, and Danny Dimes.
That's crazy.
Also, Aaron Rodgers and Trevor Lawrence are like 0.4 behind him. So it's wild on that team, especially with Pacheco going down. You thought Mahomes would be throwing it around a bunch. So I don't understand how those two correlate with Mahomes not getting fantasy points and the Chiefs being so good. I mean, I don't know. They're just a good team, I guess. But, yeah, that's wild. But like you said, Jamar Chase went crazy. He's up there. I think might even be wide receiver 1 now. So Kyle's team is putting together some pieces. Chase, solid performance, just like a decent performance. Good numbers from everyone. Just nobody really outstanding getting like a 30, 40-point performance to get him anything. So pretty wild stuff.
All right, now moving on to our last matchup. RJ, our Leighton co-host, beat Kevin 120 to 89. I'm sure everyone loved seeing Kevin with such a terrible week. But it was, to be fair to Kevin, he was in bye week hell.
Bye week hell got him.
Let it be known, he was in bye week hell. But other than that, Drake London with 27. I know for a fact Kevin is trying to sell high Drake London. I'm not sure if he texted every other member of the league about Drake London, but he texted me. But other than that, really, he had 6 players in single digits. You just don't want to see that. And then RJ, on the other hand, Joe Burrow going nuclear, highest score of the week with 43. and then just the rest of his team picking up the slack, getting him that win. It was really great to see RJ start 0-2, and he's won 3 in a row. He's really streaking, and everyone thought he was done for. What you think, Trev?
Yeah, that was going to be my first point. Was RJ 3-game win streak? He's on that 3-game win streak after starting 0-2, which is crazy. Can you hear Taylor back there? Hang on,
just a little bit.
She's crying. She wants to go outside.
This would be a great time. Oh, nope. You'll be right back. I'm not going to edit anything out.
Where were we? Oh, RJ. Yeah, Burrow going crazy. He started the wrong receivers. I think both receivers on his bench had 2 touchdowns, but ended up not mattering with Kevin's bye week hell. I mean, shit. And Kevin, only note I have for Kevin's team is the Josh Allen experience. How does the experience feel now? I guess it's just part of the experience. I think I noticed that right now Kevin has no quarterback in his quarterback slot for week 6. Ooh. Hopefully that talk went well with Josh Allen up in Kevin's
Josh, I'll see you in my office after the game.
In the office, Josh, because it has not been pretty for Josh the past couple of weeks. I think he had like one of the lowest completion percentages of his career. 9
for 30.
9 for 30. Whew. You got to think there's some more 40-point performances coming, but that is not what you want to see out of Josh Allen, who even I feel like in the past in bad games has been able to put up points. So, But good win for RJ, 3 in a row.
But yes, and ladies and gentlemen, that was week 6. I think it was a pretty good week, some competitive matchups. Really nothing going on Monday Night Football that was interesting, but I kind of like it when everything's over by Sunday because I don't like being so stressed Monday night.
No Monday nightmares this week.
Yeah, and then, Trev, I've got to ask, I know you were doing a little research. Do you have any other segments? Because I've got a segment before the commercial break if you don't have anything.
Ooh, go for it.
I'm calling this the Commissioner Hot Seat. We need to talk to you about Sleeper because the NFL app is becoming unacceptable. Even the web client is going to shit. I have to scroll through 8 different pages trying to get to our league. All I can find is the game center, and that's it. We can't even find the history. So, Trev, what do you have to say? Can you defend how you've just been sitting on your ass, not doing anything about looking into Sleeper, looking into maybe Yahoo?
I agree with what you're saying about NFL. I don't think I'm on the hot seat.
People are murmuring
because we vote on this as a commissioner. This democracy sort of that I run. We voted on this. We said we are going to stick with NFL. So you can't blame me because everyone's vote matters. And we voted to stay with NFL.com. That being said, NFL has been awful. The app, week 1, it was terrible. You couldn't even see your matchups. There's so many glitches. It takes a while to load. The history's gone on the website now. Now, in defense, I know we've been talking a lot about Sleeper. Number 1, I don't think we should change mid-season. That'd be so confusing. So we got to stick it out right now. We're obviously going to vote on it at the end of the year. I will say a couple things. 1, I don't think there was any issues this week on the app. Am I wrong? I don't think it updated fine. So maybe they fixed some bugs. 2, the history thing was very frustrating at first. And it's frustrating there's not a tab you can click on anymore. But I think RJ talked about this. RJ read that Reddit thing. It is.
You have to manually go to it.
If you're just on the league homepage and you want to see history, just in the URL, just type in /history. You don't even have to type in the rest of the URL. Just leave the URL what it is on the league homepage, type /history, and it'll all pull up there. I was looking at a bunch of the history last night. So I don't know why they decided to go away with the tab, but it is still easy to access. So, but I don't think I'm on the hot seat. I think NFL.com is on the hot seat because they might be losing some valued 15-year customers if they don't get their shit together. So
customer implies we pay or
yeah. Well, you don't know about the league fees I pay to join?
If you dropped that you pay like $100 out of your own pocket, I think we would all have to like give you some respect.
No, I do. That's what I've been. So like, that's something I was going to bring up at the next.
You have a meeting with Roger Goodell on like a giant Zoom.
I was going to bring it up at the postseason party that, all right, guys, like, when are you going to start chipping in for like this fee that I'm paying for NFL? Like, it's literally like $1,000 to join fantasy football. So like, maybe like,
wow,
I don't know, I'm the commissioner, but like $50 from each of you. We can determine that price after the A6 Sportsbook results come out for how much money I need from each of you for the fantasy league next year. But we'll get to that point when we get there. So,
but yeah, and just one more thing. I don't know why we haven't discussed you just doing the stats by hand, and we can just text you our lineups. I don't know why we haven't discussed just doing it, pen and paper. I'm sure Jack would be all on board.
Jack would love that.
We could just do pen and paper. You keep track of the stats. But nevertheless,
sounds unnecessary, but sure, we can discuss it.
Just something to think about. We've got a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
A gambling problem can make you feel all alone, but it doesn't have to. Get help today, please, for your family.
Welcome back. We want to say thank you to our sponsors. And who's that, Trev?
That's Milton, baby.
Oh, come on. Have some respect. After what he's doing to the Gulf Coast right now.
Just saying, watch out, take cover.
Yeah, I saw the governor was saying, leave now or you might perish.
Let's hope not for our good co-host. Pour one out for
our good pour one out.
I don't belong in this seat. I feel uncomfortable. I like being the guest, not a host.
I'd say you're still kind of the guest. But why don't we get into the Week 6 preview? Now, I will, with a little disclaimer, this might be a little bit different. I know you're used to seeing the A6 Sportsbook, but the A6 Sportsbook is actually centered out of a small island in the Florida Keys, and they are evacuating as well. The fine folks there, sadly, they could not run over water, but they are running away. So our hearts are with the A6 Sportsbook right now. But nevertheless, I think, maybe Trevor, you could try and step in and give your input as to who you think will win and maybe what you think the lines will be.
Yeah.
That might be something. See how you could do if you were the A6 Sportsbook. And I think it would very much – I think people might know how you do in the A6 Sportsbook.
Yeah, these lines are probably going to be bad, but I'll give it my best shot,
So we got the first – oh,
actually, I'll get to it. Go ahead.
We got the first matchup. I'm calling this the Hussey Mayfield Library Rise and Fall matchup because we've got one team rising and one team falling. That's Kyle and Jack. Everyone was so high on Jack's team. He's 2-3. Everyone is kind of so low on Kyle's team, but he's battled back to 2-3 as well. But just keys to the game for Kyle. He's dropped Mahomes. He's got Goff in there. Will Goff be able to get him 20 points as well? Will Jamar continue being that nuclear threat, or will the Bengals just do the Bengals thing? Jack really needs his insane knowledge, his instincts to keep him going. On paper, like looking before the season, his team isn't looking great, but he definitely needs bounce back weeks from Debo, DK, and Bijan to really be a force in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor, who you got in this matchup?
Yeah, so I'm calling this one the Macy's middle of the pack matchup because
is each matchup going to have two different sponsors and two different names?
because this is the right now this is the 4 versus 5 seed. Oh, that's funny. This is the 4 and 5 seeds, so they're right in the middle of the pack, both at 2 and 3. This is also my must-win, can't-lose matchup.
Whoa!
Week.
Bing,
Both
bing, bing, bing,
have a
bing.
losing record right now. I think in all the other matchups, at least one participant has a winning record. So I'm calling this one the must-win, can't-lose. Right now, I'm looking at it. I'm not sure who's the must-win and who's the can't-lose. I'm going to go ahead and, based on projections of the season and how teams are looking, I'm going to call it a Jack can't lose. No, I'm sorry. Jack must win.
Oh, okay.
Kyle can't lose. Jack's on that slide. He's got to get that win. Kyle's on the up and up, so he can't lose. Jack, a couple key notes for him. Is JT going to play? Cup maybe could have been back this week. I'm not sure. Anyway, he's on a bye. Kyle, is Nico Collins going to play? And I saw Kyle has no bye week trouble this week.
No.
So that's big for him. So based on whether those players will be playing could be massive. I'm going to say that this matchup, this has no affiliation with the A6 Sportsbook. This line could be way off, but I'm going to give it a pick 'em. I think it's going to be a close one. Going to be a close one. And I think that now that Kyle's dropped Patrick Mahomes and Jack has maybe some other things to be worried about this weekend, I'm going to say that Kyle pulls out the W in this one.
Yeah, I agree with that. I might give Kyle a few points, but I agree. I think Kyle's got the lead into this one. But maybe Jack knows something we don't. He might pick up Gary Shambleton, and he'll score 20 points out of nowhere.
Could be. Gary Shambleton. I was going to say this. Something that'd be fun to do for the podcast would be whoever's on should make, and this obviously won't work this week because we don't have the lines out yet, but whoever's on should make their pick based on the spread for each of the 4 matchups, and then create like a record for like how many you got right and wrong, like they do for like the guest picker on like College Game Day. So like Trevor was the guest picker and got 3-1. He was 3 out of 4 against the spread, and like see how well you do. But could be something for next week, maybe just a suggestion. But yeah, I think Kyle pulls out this one.
I think that one's going to be close. And speaking of another close one, we've got what I am calling the Apple Music Dis versus Dis matchup. We've got me, Teddy, against Kevin. Really, my keys, I just need my good luck to continue. I think Kevin's team is very strong. He's got Saquon back. He's got Amon-Ra back. Drake London coming on after a monster performance. I think I really need my running backs, Derrick Henry, Kamara, Josh Jacobs, to keep producing. But other than that, the projections are a little skewed because Kevin doesn't have a quarterback right now. But will he go Kyler? Will he go Josh Allen? I don't know.
See how that
meeting went. But Trev, what are you thinking about this one?
Let's see. So I'm calling this one the Bud Light Button Bowl. The Bud Light Button Bowl, because I think there are 2 buttons in play here. Teddy, your button is the – hang on. Teddy, your button is the relax button, because I believe we've talked about how 6 wins has a pretty good chance of being in the playoffs. So is this a potential playoff clinching matchup for you? Ooh. So if you get a win, you might be hitting the relax button. On the other hand, I've got Kevin with his finger on the panic Button because he is on a 2-game losing streak right now, and he does not want to go on that 3-game skid. So this is the Bud Light Button Bowl. Relax button, panic button. But Kelsey, let's see. I had a note about Kelsey. I don't know why. Travis,
He's on a bye.
He's on a bye. Okay, so Kelsey and Tyreek on bye. Kevin, who's he going to play at quarterback? And I think he's only got maybe Waddle on bye, so not big bye weeks there for Kevin. Just the quarterback controversy. So let's see. I'm going to guess that the spread on this one, given the history of these previous 5 weeks, is going to be Teddy minus 6.5. We know that Kevin's players are ones to watch out for to have a bad week since he's playing you. So you're 5-0. You've got to be the favorite. And I'm not going to mess with that juju. I'm going to say you cover that 6.5.
Wow. I'd like to point out that is not the official ASIC Sportsbook. Where in the ASIC Sportsbook, I've been the underdog each time.
Maybe that's why you're winning, because Jack says that the underdog, the
favorites, the ultimate reverse jinx.
Favorites are cursed.
So RJ was saying I made a deal with the devil. Maybe it's the ASIC Sportsbook people pulling the strings.
The ASIC Sportsbook.
ASIC Sportsbook has made a lot of money putting me as the underdog.
You do not want to be a favorite in the ASIC Sportsbook.
But yeah, I agree with that. Honestly, I won't agree. Like looking at the actual players, I know you're basing it off of streaks. I think Kevin's, got this in the bag. Tony Pollard against the Colts, the weakest run defense in the league, historically bad through 5 weeks. Saquon against Cleveland, looks like they'll do good. But
have you texted him yet? When are you going to text him? Congrats on the win.
Well, here's the thing about that. I only once there's a reason that I think that he's won. After the Thursday night game, if anything happens, any players, he doesn't have anyone Thursday night game, so I'll have to, wait until then.
Till Sunday. You're going to text him Sunday? Have you gone up against anyone so far this year who didn't have anyone in Thursday night?
I take it back. He has Kittle at Seattle.
Okay.
And if Kittle has a good week, I might be in for a rough one. Might as well, call the streak over if Kittle gets over 4 points.
If Kittle has a catch.
Kittle has a catch, I'm screwed. But moving on to the next matchup. We've got the IKEA separation matchup between you and Monty. Monty is trying not to be separated from the pack at 2 and 3. You are trying to jump above the pack, push him down, pull yourself up. But Monty definitely, he's got Jalen Hurts, and I hear AJ Brown is back. If they have big comeback weeks, he'll be looking good. Same for Maserati Marvin and Malik Neighbors. If they get back to their production, I think he'll be in a good spot. Trev, you really need that nuclear threat. You've got Lamar. If he goes crazy, you're good. But also Jaden Reed, Isaiah Likely, Garrett Wilson. They could be there, but will they? I know this is your matchup, so you might be a little biased. But how are you thinking? How are you feeling? You'll do against the bank?
Yeah, I'm calling this one the Reese's rival revenge game, or what could have been, because of Justin Jefferson. Obviously, Monty and I had that trade last year where I gave him Justin Jefferson after he got hurt. So he was on my team, back to Monty's team. Now he's back on my team. However, he is on bye. So it will not be any sort of revenge game in that aspect. So Jetta's on bye, A-Chain on bye. Thankfully, you don't have to put him in. And Kareem Hunt is on a bye, which I'm, like I said earlier, glad he's on a bye because he's got all that workload in Monday night's game.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple questionable players I think will be huge in this matchup. Nick Chubb. Is Nick Chubb coming back? Personally, I don't think he's going to play this week, but we'll see. And then A.J. Brown, yeah, like you said, sounds like he's going to play. Malik Neighbors, I imagine he's going to play. So I'm gonna take a step back from these guesses on the A6 Sportsbook lines because I don't want to reverse jinx anything. I just hope I win. So I'm not going to put a spread out there. I'm not going to put a pick. I just hope I win,
I will say, put myself in your shoes, who is putting yourself in the sportsbook shoes. So I'm in two different pairs of shoes right now. So I think both of these teams look pretty similar.
You're in my shoes, and I'm in the A6 Sportsbook shoes, which are A6 shoes.
Yeah, I'm wearing
your Contendos.
Yeah, we're all wearing gel Contendos.
Okay.
You're wearing the 3s. I'm wearing the 4s. The originals are the 2s.
Okay, gotcha. So we're all comfortable.
But I would call this one a pick'em, and just based on pure nuclear power, teams coming off the bye, I would say Monty with Jalen Hurts feel like they're going to have a good week. Everyone's been crapping down the Browns' pants. No pun intended. But, yeah, and another thing just to note about Monty's team real quick before we move on, he did very, very confidently say he thinks Jordan Love is going to be the guy going forward, and Jordan Love went straight back to the bench.
Well, who's he got in? Oh, Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
looking like he did not impress.
Speaking of, I just want to mention something based on what you said. The Browns, Deshaun Watson is awful. I mean, he's worse than Skylar Thompson, and you know how much I hate Skylar. Deshaun Watson is terrible, and I dropped Njoku, but I had 3 Browns players on my team last week, and do not want anything to do with them. Like, I have Amari Cooper on my bench. I don't think I will ever feel confident starting him. The Browns are so bad until they make a quarterback change, which doesn't sound like they will. But
who's their backup?
Jameis Winston.
Oh, I can see Jameis Winston getting some
production. They should put it in Jameis, but something I heard I don't know. It's a weird situation there in Cleveland, but
yeah, I know because you've talked about how much you like Deshaun Watson off the field.
And Whoa!
So I know it's tough for you to see him not producing because of what he's done.
He's disrespecting my field of healthcare. He's disrespecting us. Fuck Deshaun Watson.
Wow.
I hope he shows up on those Diddy lists that are supposed to come out. But I for Nick Chubb's sake, I hope that they make a quarterback change. But we'll see.
Well, now for our final matchup, we're calling this the Ticonderoga Put It to the Test matchup because that's not a tie, that's a Bic. Please don't disrespect our sponsors like that.
You didn't see the label; you just knew it was a Bic.
What can I say? The fine folks at Ticonderoga make a good product you can recognize, but. I think this is really putting it to the test. If RJ is true,
what was this one? The Ticonderoga
Put It to the Test matchup.
Okay,
because we're seeing if RJ is really legit, if Chase is really the last place team. Maybe Chase will bring some of that 190-point performance he had last year to this one. Really beat RJ down after a tough week. But, keys for this one, RJ needs Burrow to perform again. He can't have another dud there. I think he really needs his running backs to shine. Kenneth Walker, Jordan Mason, Joe Mixon. If they can perform, if they can help carry this team, RJ will be looking great. Chase has some bye issues. But, again, just like every week, he needs CD and Stephon to really show out. I think they've been kind of lackluster lately. He's got Devontae on his bench, and I don't blame him. But I think that's a blow that's got to hurt, not being able to have his, I think, number 3 round pick.
Yeah.
But otherwise, what are you thinking about this one, Trev? What's your sponsorship deal?
I've got this one as the OnlyFans Scary Streakers. The OnlyFans Scary Streakers matchup. RJ's on that 3-game win streak, which is very scary for the rest of the league. Chase doesn't want to start getting in that losing streak again. We are on the scary streakers here. Chase, RBs are on by Aaron Jones and who's the other one?
Kyron Williams.
Got those tough bye weeks there. That hurts for Chase being at 1-4. Listen, I've been at 1-4, Chase. Last year I was at 1-4. It took me till week 5 to get my first win. It's a scary place to be. Scary.
Did you make the playoffs?
I did not.
Okay.
I was close. Brandon McManus got me 7 fucking points in that Monday night game. But you can battle back from it. But it's going to take a lot, and not a good way to start with the RBs on. I think I went 1-5 though. So even if Chase loses, he's still I can't remember for sure, but yeah. So that's a little scary for Chase. RJ's been looking good. I was the A6 Sportsbook. If I was in this game, based on the streaks, I would say, and especially on those bye weeks of Chase's, RJ minus 8.5. I think RJ's, I'm not going to say should, I'm not going to be is, but I would say RJ would be the biggest favorite of this week.
No, definitely with Chase's bye week. Like he doesn't have strong running backs as it is, but with Kyron out, things are looking tough. Aaron Jones. Chase might have to make some moves. He might have to make some calls. He might have to go up to the scouting department and see what they've got going on. But
maybe make some trades. However,
maybe make some trades.
I just thought of this. Niners are playing on Thursday. That gives Chase a whole weekend to think about and watch some football.
Some people have been murmuring that Chase has been a little bit too busy to really be a full-fledged fantasy football manager.
Yeah, that could be the difference. RJ's got Joe Milton to worry about. Chase has nothing on the weekend going on, so we'll see.
We'll see. Well, that was the week 6. Oh,
have I been saying who I think is going to cover the spread or not? Yeah, I did because I said because I made the first one pick them. I said I think you would cover the 6.5, so I think RJ will cover the 8.5. Theoretically, if that's the spread, this will actually help me a lot in my bets for the sportsbook. I already know who I think is going to win and by how much.
If the A6 Sportsbook comes to the table.
Say like RJ makes it an RJ minus 3.5, then I'm going to hammer RJ minus 3.5 because I think he's going to win by 8.5.
I think I like it now. Wait.
See what I'm saying?
We'll see. We'll see.
Time will tell.
Only time will tell. Maybe things will turn around for you. But, if you don't have anything else, I'm sorry to all our viewers who are expecting us to go for 40, 45 more minutes. It's been sort of a shorter episode. But otherwise, Trevor, if you don't have anything else to say.
I think that's all I got.
As always, thanks for listening to the Zionsville Football Fantasy Football Podcast, Fantasy Football League, Fantasy Football Podcast, Fantasy Football League. Make sure to get those bets in before the Thursday night game. Be sure to follow us on social at ZFFFL FF POD on all major platforms. Thoughts and prayers to everyone affected by Joe Milton ravaging Florida. Thanks for watching, listening, and as always, fuck you, Trevor.
I had a little more personal.
See you next week.